Hello, beautiful netizens. Welcome back to CoinPoker's Cash Game World Championship in partnership with PokerStrategy.com. We're back with another day of action. I'm your host, Johan Merlo, aka Todd, and I'm joined by my favorite Scotsman that happens to be living in Brazil. And, well, I shouldn't have added that. Now it sounds really bad. It sounds like I know a bunch of other Scotsmen, and you only... Okay, I'll stop right there. It's Peaceful Johnny. What's up?
Completely butchered that. Much. I'm glad. I loved it. I loved it. Hey man, if I'm your favorite Scotsman who lives in Brazil, I'll take it. I'm just happy to be top of a list. You know, it's been a while since I've been the top of a list before.
I barely know any other Scotsmen. Period.
I mean, there's in the poker world, we got Coin Poker's own Gary Blackwood.
That's true. Yeah.
Doing some content. But you know, you can't take it back. I'm number one. He's got to settle for number two at this point.
Oh, but I said that lives in Brazil. He doesn't live in Brazil. That's why I said I shouldn't have added that.
So of the two Scotsmen, you know, I'm number two. I'll take it. I'll take the silver medal.
I messed up, man. My bad.
But yeah, thank you very much for having me. I feel very welcomed. It's a pleasure to be here, and yeah, I'm looking forward to watching some more high-stakes poker.
Let's see those guys cook. See what they have in store for us. We have 2 show tables running, 2 normal tables. I see Cherry Blossom in the mix, aka Jungle Man, I believe. Nice to see him back in there.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah.
We got the man himself.
The jungle. Davy with a gigantic stack, by the way. One of the tables.
Yeah, nice life, you know. Just up a casual 40k on the table. I'll take it.
That's the way. That's what you want to see. Big stacks. Dunkaroo is 50k at another table. Davy 20k. Some potential for some big pots for sure. Sheila in the mix as well. Nice to see. I only see 2 tables, I believe, for him. Maybe he's got other games, so he wants to focus on playing less hands, but more efficiently.
Yeah, these guys just gambling, throwing back and forth Toyota Corollas. It's nice to see. We're getting a big pot with Davy. We might get a brand new Ford F-150 passed up the leaderboard.
You know what this makes me think of is when they did this contest of Francis Ngannou in UFC, he had to punch a thing that gauged how much power he has, and he punched it like, oh, that's as much power as a Fiat, you know, or this one car. And then he asked his opponents what he thought about that, and he was like, that's one of the weakest cars. He had the best answer talking about it. Unfortunately, he did lose the fight though.
Yeah, well, he won the moral victory though, so that's what's important.
Yeah. How's your grind been, by the way?
It's been good. It's been good. Yeah, just I kind of started the month on a bit of a downswing. I was coming back from a vacation. I had a long trip, going to the wedding of a friend of mine, and traveling around Europe a little bit, and yeah, came back quite rusty and got punished for it, and just spent a good portion of the month sort of digging myself back out the hole. But I dug myself back out the hole, and yeah, this week has been good. I've been playing a low number of tables, focusing. Feel like I'm playing very well. So yeah, hopefully that translates into some, at least not completely awful commentary on some poker hands. But
nah, you're always great, man.
I promise nothing.
You're always great on the commentary, sir. No doubt about that. Actually, I played a little bit today on my phone because I went to the doctor and I was there super early. So I was like, oh my God, I'm probably going to have to wait an hour. And then I fired some table on my phone and I want to buy in pretty quickly. And then I immediately got called to go. So I was like, all right, well, that's the session. 2 orbits, 1 buying.
Hey, it all counts. It all counts. I mean, we've talked before about playing in some weird locations. I saw a Discord message the other day from a high stakes player who said he had a few winning sessions whilst in the shower. And yeah, that was a new one to me. I've never done the shower session.
Wait,
before.
who say that?
I was a player in this Discord group I'm involved in. I don't know if I want to say his
Okay.
say his username. I don't know if he wants it to be public, but yeah. Hey, poker players, this is the advantage, right? This is the digital nomad sort of existence, right? You can play from a laptop on a beach or on your phone in a doctor's office, and you can make some money.
In the shower with some
That's the
lotion, whatever it takes to start an upswing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Depending on if the session's going good or bad, you got a way to celebrate.
You can either celebrate or you can cope. One or the other.
Exactly.
A lot of chatter, by the
We've all
way.
been there.
One on the table. Actually, I'm not sure I should show. I feel the worst. Jungleman said, does anyone know what Davy Jones looks like? I want to see his face. I must say I've met him. And Jungle said, I bet he's ugly. Oh my god.
I have a bad habit of every time I look at these like player profiles, I just imagine that's the person. So whenever I see Davy Jones playing, I'm just imagining it's literally Davy Jones. And
But that Davy Jones is a character? Like it's this character?
yeah, he's Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, Davy Jones Locker.
I mean, you said that like I had to watch the movies.
You kind of do. You kind of do now. Anyone from the crew can challenge anyone else in the game of Liar's Dice, and he goes, "I challenge Davy Jones."
Really?
Okay, I think
You're
I think I'm
hardcore.
too into
Yeah,
Pirates
you're
of the
hardcore.
Caribbean. I think I need to tone it down a little bit.
Wait,
What about
actually,
you? What about other than doctor's office? Have you been grinding a lot, or just? I mean, you've obviously been busy with commentary, so I imagine there's not too much time for grinding.
yeah, almost not at all. But no, I played a little bit. Like it was recommended to me. I think it was last week actually to play normal tables. So I tried to play normal tables. It went decently well, but it's just very low volume. And then today I played 2 orbits. So yeah, barely any volume. But after this ends, excited to play more. For sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely team low tables. Team. I play mostly 3 tables, sometimes 4.
3.
Yeah.
An uneven number. That's that's psychopathic stuff.
Well, two's too few and 4's too many. What can I say?
Makes
We'll
sense.
hit the middle ground. And yeah, man. I mean, I think I've heard people say, "Oh, I get too bored. I need to play more tables." But like, for me, low table count is actually way more draining, way more tiring, way more mentally exhausting than playing more tables. Like, I can play, I can pretty easily grind 8 tables for 3 hours straight, but after an hour and a half of 3 tables, I'm ready for a lie down.
Well, how old are you now?
Level of focus. I'm 29.
Damn, you're not even 30 yet. And you're already starting to feel tired. Come on, man.
Yeah, but 29 in Scotland is like 55 in France.
I actually think it might legit be the opposite. With all the smoking and drinking that we do. It might legit be the exact opposite.
It's the battle. What's worse for you, whiskey or cigarettes? Let's find out. Me and Johan will battle to see who dies first.
Oh my god.
The prop bet of the ages.
Dude, there are some people that are anomalies with this too. I have this one friend, he has like all the vices in the world, he smokes, he drinks, he eats unhealthy, and I swear like he's like kicking like nobody else.
Yeah, man. It's always funny when you see these interviews with the old guys who are like, when I was growing up, me and all my friends would drink and smoke. And look at me now, I'm 95. And I'm always like, dude, but what happened to all your friends?
Yeah, actually, have you kept in touch with like a lot of like childhood friends or like school friends?
Honestly, not really. Because I moved city for university, and then immediately after university I moved country for work, and then I moved back to the UK. So like I've not, and then now I'm in Brazil, obviously. So when you're kind of bouncing around lots of different locations, it's kind of hard to keep a stable group of friends for many years. I'll still have,
Yeah.
keep in touch, and we'll have a drink at Christmas time or whatever if we're all free at the same time. But yeah, like my crews tend to shift. Not got much contact with people back in the day.
Life is just about enjoying. Actually, like I just went to a Friendsgiving party, and the one friend I know, I know a couple of people now there from that group, but every time there's like a whole bunch of new characters, and then like today I was talking to some of them, like talking to them for the first time. It's kind of like crazy. Like you have like all backgrounds. This one guy from like Sri Lanka was really cool, and there was this one lady. She does like she draws tarot cards for a living. It's like this really interesting thing I knew absolutely nothing about. And then now, I was asking a little bit about it. And I was like, yeah, can you make somebody lucky? I could use some luck, I play some poker. She draws like the death card. I'm like, no!
All she can tell you is if you are lucky, can't change the outcome of the cards. But yeah, I can imagine that being a pretty cool job. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not that into the whole mysticism thing in terms of believing in it, but I like the culture behind it, and then a lot of these decks, they're beautiful, right? Some of the artwork and stuff. So I can imagine it being it'd be a pretty cool thing to like collect these type of things, because I bet you can find some really unique creations.
Yeah, it's very interesting because like I think the way she was talking about it was really good. She was saying like everything is like kind of like related to one another, because at first she talked also about astrology, and I was like, yeah, okay, I don't believe in that like at all, like not for 1 second. But yeah, like I feel like some people, they think that everything's related. There is like for sure like some beauty in this in a way. Like I don't know if you've ever seen this documentary on Netflix. It's called Hill. It's super interesting. There's like this one guy. I don't remember exactly the thing, but like he's hurt, and he's like through his like diet and routine, he's basically trying to reconstruct what is broken, just from like focusing on it and meditating on it. And it does feel like some part of us have some sort of like powers in a way, right? It's like some healing powers, or like even like the human body itself, right? It's crazy what you can put it through. Like you could literally lose 4 limbs and you're still alive. And then you get to live a life.
Yeah, man. I mean, the brain is a powerful thing. I think, yeah, you see it a lot with placebo effects and stuff. Like if you give someone a pill that says they're going to get a rash, even if the pill is just a sugar pill, some people will just get a rash. So the brain is that powerful. It can change things. And yeah, it's interesting, the world of poker, because I think you get people on all sides of the spectrum, in terms of you get the guys who are just very logically minded, very EV focused, and then you get the people on the other side with their trinkets and their superstitions and their positive attitudes and all this kind of stuff, and everyone in between. And yeah, I think yeah, for me, I'm a little bit more on the logical half of the spectrum, but I enjoy taking part in a little bit of superstition now and then. I'll have a lucky shirt for the football game. I'll if I read a horoscope, I'll be like, that might make me feel good. If it says I'm going to have a good day, I'm going to be like, all right, let's fulfill this. But yeah, am I going to be drawing tarot cards then be bummed about the result? Probably not.
Not yet. You're not sold on it. Well, the thing is, like, you're on the logical side, but I do feel like naturally we don't really deal with logic too well in some ways, right? Especially when things go bad. We have too much recency bias, and then everybody thinks they run bad, right? And then like until you open like a huge sample of hands, and you can tell for a fact that you've run a certain amount of like big blinds or binds under EV, nobody's running bad, Like I have this too. I feel like I lose every flip. I'm like, what is going on? And then I check my graph at the end of the month. I'm like, Oh, I'm actually a little bit above EV. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah, we're all susceptible to the biases for sure, and yeah, I think your attitude has a big effect on how you approach life, whether it's studying or how much volume you're putting in. At the end of the day, we all have very similar monkey brains that we evolved in the woods with. So yeah, we can't we're not robots, and we can't really treat ourselves like robots. So yeah, I think yeah, there's definitely value in this kind of stuff, like in terms of trying to retrain your ways of thinking, trying to you know find techniques to relax yourself, try and find techniques to make your overall outlook a little bit more positive. Like these things are real,
Yeah.
whether they're explained from a scientific perspective or from a spiritual perspective. It doesn't actually really matter that much as long as you do the work. I was reading a book recently about it was one that actually that Prodigy recommended to me. It was written by a former top table tennis player, and basically talking all about deliberate practice and how to get great at a skill, particularly sports. And one of the things he highlighted was that there's been studies that have shown that athletes who believe in a higher power, like a god or something, tend to actually perform better because there's some kind of when you're at that level of struggling, training every day, having an extra almost illogical belief that everything's going to work out okay and somebody's looking out for me, and that actually can make you perform better, whether that's putting in more hours training or just having a higher level of focus in game. So yeah, it's very interesting to look into these sort of things. I would encourage any of the very very logical people, and I count myself in that bracket, who are watching the stream to you know to not dismiss it out of hand before they've tried a little bit and seeing if it works for them.
I just ordered a cross necklace on Amazon. I hope it works out for me.
Yeah, do it. I think.
What was the book, by the way?
So the name of the book is Bounce. It's by a guy called Matthew Syed. So I'll type it in the stream chat. But yeah, very very good book, and kind of summarized um a lot of kind of books you see on the subject, whether it's deliberate practice and
Yeah.
or yeah, things like grit. He mentions things like a growth mindset and stuff from other books. I think it was Carol Dweck that coined that term, and yeah, kind of brought a lot together, and also obviously talked a little bit about the privileges that he had because he happened to have been brought up in an area that had a really good table tennis school like an hour from his house, and that was the biggest reason that he had. And he had his family were well off enough to pay for it, and all these kind of things. Like these kind of things are big factors in who becomes great
Yeah.
at a given skill or sport or ability. And yeah, it's always something to keep in mind, is that when we look at these guys who have achieved great things, like you never really quite know what advantages or disadvantages they had. Especially in poker, it's really evident, right? You don't actually see, on average, a whole lot of people at the top end of poker who are from really really poor backgrounds. It happens, but there's a lot of guys who dropped out of a very good college to pursue poker
Yeah.
and lived in their parents' house for a long time. These are advantages, So yeah, it's very interesting to read about this stuff.
What do you think of Atomic Habits?
I read it, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was quite a nice. It's almost like a textbook, right? It's kind of very, if you've got something you want to do, it gives you a list of rules, like make it easy, make it available, these kind of things. And I thought it was good. For me personally, I tend to gravitate a little bit more towards books that are more stories. I'm not really a very yes, I consider myself a bit of a logical person, but I also kind of like to I don't really learn very well one thing at a time. I kind of like I'm not the type of person where you can tell me, okay, learn this rule for habit formation, and now that's in me, and I've internalized it, and now I've learned it, and I can move on. I kind of have to hear the same message over and over again in various different ways. So I kind of like, and it has to be entertaining, and it has to have some kind of an anecdote with it. And yeah, I find other books do that a little bit better for me than Atomic Habits. But hey, I enjoyed the book. I thought it was good. So
What about Art
I
of
would
War?
recommend that. Art of War I've never actually read. I mean, I've heard some quotes from time to time, but yeah, I would need to go back. I don't even know what the most commonly accepted translation is that people are actually reading. Yeah, it's got to be, once you get to this level of like really old book, it's
Yeah.
you're it's a little bit harder to just pick it up and enjoy it. You kind of need a little bit of a translation layer.
Yeah. What about Meditations?
Again, haven't read it. I've read a few quotes. I think I started the
We gotta be stoic, man.
Yeah, I started the Ryan Holiday one, the kind of where he gives you sort of every day he gives a stoic quote, which I kind of enjoyed, but I just don't have the discipline to follow one thing every single day.
Yeah.
It got to like January 5th, and I was like, I just forgot about the book for a week, and then I'm like, I don't want to start again. It's not January 5th anymore. I have to wait till next year.
That's what people do with the gym.
Right?
They go for a couple days, then they're like, oh God, like I fell off the wagon. Guess I'll start again next year, then stay subscribed for like the whole year.
Exactly. Jungle Man getting explained how the tables work.
He's calling himself Daddy when talking to people. Very interesting stuff.
Jungle Man's out there, man. Like he is. He's the kind of guy where you either love him for who he is, or I can imagine him being just the most irritating person to be around. But he's his own person, and I respect that. And I always, whenever he's playing poker, I really want him to do well, because there's no one else quite like him in the poker world.
Yeah, he's fun for sure. I hope it would be nice to get him on the stream at some point. I will follow up actually. I sent Llama a message to ask him.
Oh God, having them two on the call at the same time, I think would just be gold. Because Jungle Man, we all know he likes to kind of play into the drama of poker. He likes to pick fights. He likes to make rivalries. And yeah, you put him on a call with Llama, I think Llama's gonna give him a little bit back of his own medicine. And yeah, I think it could be a very entertaining conversation, to call it that.
You watched Game of Gold, right?
I think I saw like 3 episodes of it, 4 episodes. I don't think I finished it entirely.
Did you see when he got upset at your viral?
Yeah. After they picked the order in a way that wasn't to his liking or something like that, and
dude, that was incredible.
Yeah, just yeah. And then they were like, his team was playing, and he was just in the back room just sleeping.
Oh my God.
No one else is like that guy, for sure. And it'll be interesting to see how he performs, right? Because obviously Jungle, he got to high stakes off of his own dime back in the day, was one of the very best, especially heads up players. Played Hold'em, played PLO, and has now played in some very high stakes games for a long time. But he's not really been in that online arena. He definitely won't be as well studied as some of these guys when it comes to 100 big blind, no ante play. So it'll be interesting to see how his kind of just raw experience, reads aggression, can perform when up against these guys who are very technically dialed in.
Yeah. Did you buy anything for Black Friday?
I did not. I went to the grocery store. Yeah, so I got stuff for the house. I got food. Unfortunately, they don't put that on Black Friday.
Yeah, well, I'm like, Hey, would you get some sick Air Max or something? He's like, no, just some watermelons and bananas. It's like, bro.
Man, there's a cost of living crisis. They're all trying to sell me a PlayStation. I'm like, can you guys not just maybe put the eggs on sale? Price of eggs too damn high. When's the Black Friday for rent, Johan?
There is actually for Black Friday for electronics is Cyber Monday, right? I think it's like the Monday after, I believe. I'm actually not even sure.
Yeah, it's just whatever day Amazon tells me to buy something. That's who I'll listen to. I'll get Jeff Bezos to just let me know when he wants some more of my money. But no, I've not. I've kind of gone off sort of. You know, when I'm in my routine, I play my poker, study poker. You know, I go to the gym and stuff like that. And there's not really lots in my life that I'm like new things that I'm desiring right now in terms of like when I was a teenager, it was always like, oh, what's the next video game console or next video game or, you know, even just pairs of shoes or whatever. But there's nothing that's at the top of my list at the moment these days.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not going to look for it. What about you? You get anything that's taken your fancy in the sales?
Dude, I bought way too much of everything. Like a ton of clothes. For some reason, I really like, so I'm trying not to overspend on the heating because it's like super expensive. So I bought a ton of like warm clothes and I'm kind of like
Nice.
just wearing a lot of clothes even when it's like freezing so that I don't have to use the heating. And I wanted to have extra like gym clothes, so I bought a bunch of that. I bought like a coffee machine. I think it was about time.
Oh man, that is one thing that I would love is a good coffee machine.
Get one. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, my apartment's quite small, so I don't have anywhere to put it. So I need to work hard to buy the apartment to put around the
Bro,
coffee.
coffee. I'm sure you can find a spot for like an espresso or something. Or I guess you probably don't. You probably don't want it. That would be criminal, I guess, in Brazil to get an espresso. In fact, if they opened a store there, I would expect maybe the people would trash it.
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of. That was one of the things about Brazil that I kind of found a little bit disappointing, because obviously it's the land of coffee, you know, biggest coffee exporter in the world. I was kind of expecting there to be this like, you know, bulging coffee scene and all these little coffee shops, but no, it's not really like that. I mean, they drink coffee every day, but it's kind of just a means to an end. And there's a few cafes round about me, but they're not very. It's not like in Italy where they have all these rules and like you can't have this coffee at this time, and if you ask for milk in it, they're just going to shoot you. Like there's just like it's just have a coffee, man. Brazilians are chill.
Yeah.
One thing I did buy was a present for my soon-to-be mother-in-law. I got her a robot vacuum cleaner, and I'm a big fan of those. I miss the one that I had at home, so highly recommend that as a purchase for anyone that's looking to take advantage of some Black Friday deal. Those things are dope.
All right,
HTP in the chat.
I got
poker course, 25%, 35% off. Yeah, it's a good choice.
I already have a whole bunch of stuff I need to study, so I don't think I need a poker course right now. I kind of need to go through those things first.
Yeah, I have a list of poker content, poker courses that I slowly tick off, and yeah, I think I add to it more than I get through it. That's for sure.
But it's good. Like it's better this way than like to be done with it and like just have nothing to, do or look forward to. It's kind of the same as like not having a job. Like realistically, like many people are like, oh, I want to rest and enjoy, but also they potentially get bored pretty quickly, right? If you didn't have like one thing to keep you busy.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I recently kind of got into the sort of habit of taking notes and things and building up a little series of folders with all my notes and thoughts about things like poker. And yeah, I got a little bit more organized with my content consumption when it comes to poker. So I do go through courses in a more organized way, and that's quite motivating because it feels like you're making progress. Whereas if you're just kind of doom scrolling and you're like, okay, let me just watch this part of a course when I'm in my bed, and then I'll watch some other random video 2 weeks from now. You don't really get that much out of it. Whereas if you're a bit more organized with it, you can, I don't know, it's a little bit more rewarding. Feels like I'm learning more and just enjoying the process more.
Well, that's good for sure. Promising for the future always, like when you can have that type of improvement and mindset. Just gonna catch up on the chat real quick. HDP said, I took a shot at NL50, played an hour and made a bind, felt good, then saw a video drop by Uri and saw him destroy Rush 50 with absolute disrespect, and immediately realized how bad I am. You know, that's the thing about poker, is that you don't need to be as good as Uri to win. You just need to be better than the people you play with. We'll always have that, remember.
Well, that's the thing as well, is you can frame it the other way. You can be like, this is actually quite exciting, because if I'm bad, it means probably people that play my sort of games are bad, and therefore there's lots of things that I can take advantage of. And you might be watching a Yuri video and he might just bet 3x pot on the river in a spot where a guy is just never going to call ever, and you can be like, oh, I probably wouldn't call there either. Let me try this play, or let me try and study how I can play that spot better. And yeah, just take it as I find that quite exciting, like nowadays. Like, I would rather, because imagine the alternative is that every time you look at your game and every time you look at a piece of poker content of a great player, he's just doing exactly what you would do, and you can't find in any stat that you're making mistakes. But you're still playing 50 NL.
Yeah,
that's kind of scarier, right? That's the scary reality, where you're like, oh, there's nothing I can do better, like, so I'm just going to be stuck here forever. Like, no, there's an infinite universe of things to improve on, and that's the positive side. That's the good thing.
But we established yesterday that no limit 50 is the hardest stake in poker.
I mean, it's possible. It's not likely, but it's possible. But
you almost said something here.
There is something to be said. There's a grain of truth in that. Poker is not like a video game where every level you go up, it's a little bit harder. It's like 25 NL is harder than 10 NL, or it's harder than 5 NL. Like, that's maybe on average true in terms of the quality of the regulars, but I've been in some really soft games in 200 NL, and I've been in some pretty reggy Zoom pools playing 10 NL. Like, it's very variable, and also as you go up in stakes, the relative rake decreases. So, like, I think a lot of people have that mentality of trying to treat it like a video game and trying to get a really big win rate at low stakes before they move up to mid stakes. And yeah, I think that's a slightly the wrong way to go about it. I think you should just kind of try and push yourself and not really be afraid of the stakes. Oh, big pot here with Lama and Davy, as Davy makes the hero call with top two. 60k stack now.
Yeah, that was interesting. We can review. Yeah, last time I was in Vegas, actually, I was, after a week or so playing, I was like, oh, let's play a little bit online. I'm tired of all these nits. They never 3-bet anything. And then I play a little bit online. Literally, my first 4 3-bets, I get called 4 every single time. And every time I have like ace, queen, king, queen, just hands that I have to fold. I was like, okay, I'm excited to go back to play live now.
Yeah, it's a different world, different game. And yeah, you only have to look at these kind of high stakes poker streams where people are playing, 200, 400, 500, 1K, and they're just flipping at the end, or just cold 4-betting 7 deuce off. Like, yeah, just because someone's playing just because a game is higher stakes, or does not necessarily mean that it's more difficult.
So Davy,
this challenge is the exception. This is high stakes and it's very hard.
Yeah. So Davy opens hijack. He c-bets on ace 3 deuce, pretty small as you would expect versus big blind, and Lama check raises. What's funny here is that I feel like those guys are so sick. They literally know every single hand that are going to check raise. So like this might be legit the type of hand where it's like it played itself as like the easiest hand of all time for both, especially for Davy Jones, obviously, because he made top 2. So he just calls the check raise, 6 on the turn, big bet. He calls again, and then he rivers top 2. And Llama jams. And Davy still took his time and thought, but I mean, I just don't see how he could ever fold with this hand here on this run out. He calls, and we have the blocker to the straight for Llama, but didn't quite get there. It would be interesting if the river was another card, though. Like a 7, 8, 9, jack.
Yeah, definitely. And it's and as you were talking about with the flop, I mean, I would say probably most of these guys, when it comes to something like that, where it's a defense versus a flop c-bet spot, like most of these guys will have an idea of what to do, but I would say it'll probably be closer to a simplified strategy. Like, and I think this is actually a good exercise for people to do is, bring up a spot like this in the solver and look at, okay, ace 3 deuce, what is versus a 33% pop bet. What are the hands I'm check raising for value? What are the hands that I'm continuing with overall? And then also, let's build myself a check raise range. So I know I'm check raising like my sets, my 2-pair, pretty much most of the time. And I'm going to be check raising bluffs. It's like, okay, which flush draws or backdoor flush draw hands bluff? Which pairs bluff? Like you might see a hand in this spot. Like, I mean, not sure exactly on defending ranges with no rake and what size Davy opened, but let's say he defended with something like a 4 deuce suited. Maybe something like that's raising. Maybe you see hands like pocket 4s, pocket 5s raising. I'm not so sure in this spot, but like you can break it down into categories, and then you can be like, okay, this category of hands are check raising 25%. This category of hands basically doesn't check raise, and then as long as you're in the ballpark of the right overall frequency, you're not going to be very exploitable. You're not going to be making huge mistakes. I don't think it's the case of like these top players can completely recreate a GTO wizard solver output. It's just that they're going to have a good idea of which categories of hands are check raising and which categories of hands are playing more passively, and they're just going to execute on that strategy. And then also there'll be exploits thrown in there, right? Like this hand from Llama, like it certainly doesn't seem like a pure check raise and barrel off type hand. I mean, it has some good properties in the sense that it's not it blocks the straight, it unblocks the missed flush draw. Like if Davy bet flop with a hand like a king X of clubs and then call the turn, and then it's going to snap fold the river. So like it has some good properties, but probably if you're using every, if you're using this hand and 5-7 and 5-6 and 4-6 of spades, you're probably overdoing it. So yeah, either Llama is randomizing, or maybe there's something he understands about Davy in this spot, and he's making a read and going with it. So, but yeah, overall, I think well played hand from both players. And yeah, I think you're right that Davy can't really fold the river, because I've got to imagine that Llama still has hands like ace 3, ace deuce for value, maybe even hands like a 6-3 suited possible. So when you're beating value against a good player, you can't really go folding when they jam.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think well played hand from, well, certainly from Davy. I think Davy didn't really have a decision at any point, but yeah, and I trust that Llama is either balancing in the right way or has a good read to take this line. And yeah, I think pretty standard spot to ship an extra 26k over to Davy. another Corolla.
Easy game.
Easy game.
We can go over the leaderboards as well. And I hadn't done yet. Usually I think it might be better to wait a little bit so that there's more people, so we don't keep bringing it up. Yeah, in this case, Kevin had a good day yesterday. Almost 5 binds, 6,400 hands. I mean, this is Like, how is it more every single day? I don't even know if Rigged has had a single day like this. Rigged played 3.3 yesterday. I mean, 5 already seems like egregious, but 6.4k, that's insane. Kevin's an animal, man.
We were talking about my 3 table grind, and if I put in a good day worth of volume, like maybe 2 or 3 short sessions, like I'm maybe capping out at 1,500 hands, maybe 2,000 hands. Like, these guys are obviously playing more tables for more hours and are just putting in crazy amounts of hands. And yeah, I mean, this is the big news of the day, right? New leader, Kevin. I think Kevin he's been obviously he's been hugely consistent the whole way through. He's traded places with the top spot several times, but he does seem to be putting in bigger volume days now that he's in with a really solid chance of winning this. And you're seeing guys like Rigged. He had a big volume day yesterday, but generally over the past few days, he's sort of toned down the volume a little bit. And yeah, I think you're going to start to see that in these last few days of the challenge. You're going to see these 2 guys in particular start to put in a lot of volume to try and take the crown. And if any of these guys in the next 4 or 5 spots go on a big upswing and get above that 200k mark and start having a chance of winning, I think you're going to see a lot of these guys are going to put in some big days. And I mean, there's plenty of other guys that do put in solid volume. Munez, another one, he's got 2,500 hands. You're seeing, I think it was Asian Flushy, seems to always be putting in some solid volume. And yeah, you even see, I think Linus was a big one as well. I mean, he only put in 1,000 hands before, but 28,000 hands on the challenge for Linus, which I think is maybe somewhere in the region of the 4th most hands of any player.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's dead last. So yeah, these guys are grinding, and in Linus's case, it's just for the pure love of the game, the pure battle of it, which is great to see. And yeah, then we're going to see the battle of volume. It'll be interesting to see how Davy responds, because I think Davy, in general, he's known to be quite a consistent player in terms of volume. Like, plays a relatively low table count, doesn't play super long hours on the day. But if we keep seeing Kevin potentially take the lead from him in the challenge, I'll be wondering if Davy starts to put in some huge days. I mean, even that day yesterday, 2,600 hands is quite a big day by Davy's standards. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he puts in some big volume to try and steal the crown.
And Jungle, actually, that we see in the mix right now, he's been doing very well. He only played 265 hands and he's won almost 4 binds. So BB per 100, 146.7, and he's already, I'm guessing this is like top 15. Maybe trying to make a run at it. I mean, he's going to take a lot more hands probably. Oh, we got all in pre. Queens against queens, boring.
Yeah, well, it was nice to see Jungle get off to a good start. Like, already nearly 4 buy-ins in the green after only a couple of hundred hands. So it at least gives a little bit of a sweat if he can put 1 or 2 more days like that together, gets over 6 figures, and he sees himself in the top spots, potentially cashing the event. Like, it could convince him to put in a little bit more volume, because it's always easier to put in volume when you're winning, right? It's always more fun. And also, I mean, battling against these players, this seems to be something that would lend itself to his personality. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how that progresses.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, good to have him in the mix. And I think we're up to 83 unique entrants in the challenge. So very nice as well in terms of attendance to have this many players.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Just like, yeah, when you think of, I mean, we were only in the 40s for number of players last last
Yeah,
time around.
43.
So to more than double that is pretty impressive, pretty incredible. And I mean, let's not forget, right? To sit down at these tables, that's $10,000, right? You're talking several months' salary in an average nation. Like, just putting it all on the table, willing to lose it in one hand. Like, very, very cool to see this amount of players be willing to pony up and take a shot. And also this year, there's been more recreational players. I think people are starting to. Well, first off, you just see games running, which is quite nice for a recreational player. They can just jump in. They see these guys battling. It feels quite nice to jump in and have a gamble. But also, I think it speaks to just seeing poker as a skill game. And I think there's a little bit of a bias or a belief that weaker players only want to play with weaker players. They only want to play in a live game when they're drinking. They only really want to not be taking it very seriously, but that's not necessarily true. Like, a lot of people, and the guys who view this type of stream would be what in this category. They like to battle. They like to play poker and try to win, and that's fun whether you're a recreational player or whether you're one of the best in the world. So
Yeah.
it's very cool to see these guys battle and try and put the best in the world in tough spots. It's a very cool event for that.
By the way, I don't have too many guests currently scheduled, but just in case you're curious, the ones that I have scheduled right now is on Monday, Exploitable, your fellow Brazilian. If you want to come flex your Portuguese on the stream.
Yeah, that would be fun for everyone. We'll just have a nice long conversation in Portuguese. Yeah, we'll let him confirm whether I get to be called a fellow Brazilian. But yeah, that would be very cool to hear him on and hear his experience battling. And,
that will be at 3 p.m. CET, and then at 10:30 p.m. CET on Monday as well. We're gonna have Benna make a return as well for another appearance.
Awesome. Yeah, one of the great content creators currently out there in the poker space, and top player. Nice guy.
Yeah, I really like Benna actually. I feel like in the first Cash Game World Championship, he was like Waco and Uri. I fell in love, with kind of like who they are in poker and like their content. And then in the last one, I discovered Benna and Clanty, and kind of same thing. Really like what they bring. I also scheduled with somebody called Frankie Carson, and I'm talking to a lot of people, by the way. I just messaged Inner Peace from the Mid Stakes Championship. I'm talking to Nevir. Decent chance he's going to be on as well. So yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah, very, very cool. And yeah, Frankie's a guy who's run at once videos I watch quite often, and and he also has been making content on YouTube analyzing the big hands from this challenge. He had a video out recently talking about Linus's 8 high call versus Ryan DePaulo. So yeah, good long-term professional, thinks well about the game, and I think he's a really good good voice to have to kind of translate what these top guys are thinking. And good student of the game. So yeah, and I agree with all these guests are so good. I could listen to Yuri all day. Waco is just so awesome with how open he is, what he does for the poker world. And yeah, I remember when Clanty first became a run at once pro, and I remember just like binging his videos like 4 times over every time they come out. I could set an alarm to when the next Clanty video was coming out. He's just one of the great poker communicators, and very, very excellent player. Very, very much leveled up my understanding of the game just by listening to him.
Yeah, completely agree. Hitting it as when is Saulo coming on? Saulo, I haven't heard from in a bit, so kind of get the feeling maybe he doesn't want to come on, so I'm not gonna push it or anything. But I know he streams a bunch, so if you catch one of his streams, feel free to tell him that you'd like to see him on the stream, and then who knows, he might drop by and come say hello. That would be nice to have him as well. We've never had him on the stream.
Yeah, it's nice to. One of the nice things about this this sort of mix of guests that we have is that you get to hear guys who are from all different areas, all different niches within the poker world. Like, obviously, we have this challenge is focused on the high stakes cash guys, but we also have guys like Gary who put in like a ton of volume at the mid stakes, and then you've got the poker educators like Saulo as well, and also just the fact that Saulo, obviously being from Brazil and running a stable of Brazilian players and being a little bit more focused on helping microstakes players improve and gain a living from poker. It's just really nice to hear all these different perspectives and hear what these guys are passionate about, being passionate about different things within the poker world, and also what they think is important for improving. I think it's really nice to hear these sort of different angles on the same game, and I think helps give the audience an idea that there are many ways to look at the poker world, many ways to be successful, many different games, and something for everyone, I would say.
Yeah. I saw an interesting hand. You want to go over it?
Let's do it.
Okay, wait. Let's do like one of the players as mystery. Okay, we can do Llama. He has Ace Jack of clubs. So Llama's in the big blinds, and Ohio Mark and him are 127 big blinds deep. Ohio Mark opens 2.5x on the button. Llama Ace Jack of clubs 1350. Ohio Mark calls, and then 10-5-3 rainbow. Is there like would you say there is like a simple rule or heuristic here to apply in these situations if you don't really know whether you should be betting after the 3 bets?
Yeah, so generally speaking, when you have boards that contain a high card and are quite disconnected, they tend to be the ones where you can bet a little bit higher frequency for a small size. And then the lower the board gets, the more incentivized we are to bet a little bit of a larger size and use a more polarized strategy. So the 10 is sort of that kind of inflection point where, maybe a jack or a queen, it's like debatable whether you use a small size. King, you almost definitely use a small size. And then 10, you're starting to get into that region where you're using a bigger size. And then 9 and 8, high boards, you would almost definitely want to use a small size. And the reason's pretty straightforward, is that we have hands in our range like pocket jacks, queens, and if it was a 9 high or 8 high board, you have hands like 10s that are very vulnerable. They're overpairs, they're strong right now, and they want to get a bunch of money in. And then we also have hands that have just like missed the board, like ace king, ace queen, that are probably ahead of our opponent's range, but don't really want to just be like piling a bunch of money in, because if you bet a bunch, you're going to just get folds from hands that are worse than yours and called by hands that are better, because bear in mind the in position player is also going to have lots of like pocket pairs as a big part of his range. So I would say, yeah, the lower the board is, the more polarized and large sizes you want to use. And then also, I think focusing on the pocket pairs, this was something that I got from Wacko in one of his pieces of content, because pocket pairs just make up a big part of the opponent's range. Like if you think of a hand like pocket sevens here, that's 6 combos, and people tend to get scared of like the suited connector type hands, like a queen jack suited, but those are only 4 combos. And then if they pair up, it's only 3 combos, whereas you get 6 combos of the pocket pairs. So if you add up having, for oh high mark, pocket 4s, pocket 6s, pocket 7s, pocket 8s, pocket 9s, that's a lot of combos there. So you kind of tend to want to play against that range a lot of the time. And I would imagine if I was looking at this as a low to mid stakes player, I'd be like, okay, this board, I'm probably going to get called a lot on the flop. So if I'm going to be running a bluff, I kind of need to be doing it like multiple streets. Whereas if the board was something like a king, jack, deuce board, I'm kind of expecting they're just going to have to fold a bunch of their pocket players in the flop, and then when they do call, I have to be a bit more careful because on later streets they're more likely to have a pair or a draw that's gonna call me down. So yeah, that was a lot of information, but yeah, generally the lower the board, you're going to see some bigger bet sizes, and yeah,
you lost me after the first 5 words, but no, I'm kidding.
So unfortunately, I'm not Clancy. I'm not the poker educator extraordinaire.
So you think like when the flop comes like this, there's a lot of runouts where Llama will keep the pressure on, like on the future streets. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, well, generally, so they are 100 big blinds deep, right? I don't see Llama's stack right now.
Yeah, no, it was like 100. I mentioned it. 130-ish. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, pretty close to 100. This is the kind of stack size where I would recommend to players, if you're 3-betting, maybe just 3-bet a little bit bigger pre-flop, and then that means when you get a board like this, you can bet big on the flop and then just jam the turn a lot of the time. Like, you know, if you've got pocket jacks here and you bet this flop and then turn is an 8, just don't be afraid to just jam it in, because you just kind of want to end the hand now.
Why would that jam into a set?
Like, well, then you lose $10,000.
I see sets everywhere. That's the problem. As a bad player, I see sets everywhere here. I'm like, yeah, he has every pocket pair. I'm already cooked.
Yeah, I mean, some of the time you're going to run into a set, but you know, sets are 3 combos. The pocket pairs are 6 combos. The hands like the overcards that have a backdoor flush draw, they'll make up a few combos. So, and obviously, if you've got jacks, you beat top pair. Top pair is a lot of combos. So, yeah, you are definitely going to get stacked here when you have jacks and you just bet flop jam turn. But more, it's going to be fine in expected value to do that. So yeah, you said that you were asking whether there's going to be lots of runouts where Llama's going to want to put the money in. It's probably actually the opposite, where there's actually a lot of runouts that are quite scary for Llama, right? Like any ace, even hands like, or a board like a turn like a queen is not great if you're sitting there with pocket jacks or a strong 10. So yeah, this is what's kind of incentivizing him to get some money in just now.
And Alexander Taylor in the chat said, "Yes, Dan, RG here. Good to see you in the booth."
Wait, hold on. I'm in the wrong chat. This is in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, in YouTube. Yeah, who's RG?
RG. Honestly, I don't know.
I thought I was like, I was reconnecting you like a
childhood
friend.
Okay, yes. Okay, yeah. I've chatted with this gentleman on a Discord server that we share.
Did you say it was a memorable conversation?
It was actually a memorable conversation, but I heard it as the letters, and I was like,
yeah, my accent. Let's blame my accent.
Yeah. But he's Scottish too, so he's another guy that, you know, he can come. He can take my spot as your second favorite Scottish person if you get to know him a little bit.
All right, Ace of Diamonds on a turn. It's kind of weird. He bets when he has nothing, and then he turns the ace, and now he checks. Like, well, what is going on here?
Yeah, I mean, the ace is obviously an interesting card. It's going to be one that probably hits Oh Hi Mark a little bit better than Llama, because Llama is not necessarily going to be betting all of his ace high hands on the flop. Like, he'll bet a few if he's got like an ace deuce or ace 4 type of thing. He might bet it, but these hands like ace king, ace queen, especially ace queen, it's just not really that incentivized to bet the flop for a big size. Ace king kind of can as sort of a value bet, but yeah, generally Oh Hi Mark is going to have a little bit more aces, and then Llama is going to want to slow down a little bit. He could potentially go for some kind of block size here, maybe trying to still get value from his kings, but I think generally just playing a little bit more passive and going with a lot of checks is going to be a reasonable way to go.
All right, so he checks, and we get a bet of 2,552 from Oh Hi Mark. So he would have There would not be much left, basically. I think he would be 11k in the pot and maybe 8k behind. 8.1k. If Llama was to call. So once he takes this line, then what is he repping here?
I mean, he's kind of... Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the bottom of the value range is, but I mean, he's kind of just saying with this bet, this is just a really good turn for me, and I'm going to have a lot of aces. So he's sort of building around, he can bet any ace for this size, for value, just putting Llama's hands like, kings through jacks in a tough spot, and then also Llama is going to have to fold a bunch of his bluffs, and, things like I don't think Mark would bet too many low pocket pairs, but he potentially could, and then it kind of turns into a little bit of a merge where he could get called by some of Llama's like flush draws, combo draws, but also get a fold out of a pocket pair. So something like that might be going on. But overall, this is just kind of a spot where Mark is just going to be betting quite frequently, just saying this card is good for me, and yeah, because he's going to have a lot of ace-x in his range.
So we do get a call, and then 6 of clubs on the river. Llama checks, and Mark decides to send it. And so effective it is... It's actually, just 7k. $7k more effective.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine at this point that, I'm really honestly not sure. I'd like to hear some more educated people in the chat, but I don't think you would get to send like, a random weak ace for this size. It's possible, but it feels to me that Mark is saying that he's got, at least a decent ace here, or better. And also, he can have like the sets on the flop. He can still have like hands like ace 10, and then Llama is probably having to mix a bit of... Yeah, we see Dan Pickles in the chat, ace queen value bottom, I'd guess. Yeah, I think that seems about right to me. So yeah, Llama's going to be, in theory, pretty... Like, he'll have been indifferent on both streets, basically, with his hands like kings. But yeah, Llama has to be basically playing in a way where he's going to have some traps, and he's going to have to call some hands that are pretty uncomfortable here against Mark. But yeah, just overall, just rough spot where you're the pre-flop raiser. Just you're going to have to... You see the bad card on the turn. You had a strong range on the flop. You put in a big bet. The guy called. He got his good turn card, and he's just going to put in money, and you have to make a decision. And that decision can be based on, does he think that Mark is the over bluffy type in this particular situation, or is Llama just going to pick some numbers in his randomizer? So yeah, we'll see.
Do you want to try and guess the hand of Mark?
Oh, good question. I'm trying to think of something spicy. What would be really spicy here?
You know me too well. I mean, to be honest, I'm not even qualified to tell if it's spicy. So, but I did think that this one was, yes.
All right. Well, let's say he's got like a bluff. Let's go with like, this isn't particularly spicy, but like 7-8 of diamonds or something. Something where he's like, I mean, would it be a pretty spicy float on the flop, but then once turns a diamond draw and then just bluffs it off anyway? Yeah.
What if I told you he has a pocket pair?
Pocket pair? Well, if it's spicy, I guess you're saying it's what, pocket fours?
Well, I'm saying it's spicy because, like, to me, like, playing aggro with a pocket pair on this when there's ace run out and then the 6 is, I'm garbage. So yeah, my lack of knowledge makes me feel it's crazy. But obviously these guys they always have great reasonings for everything they do. But it is pocket 8s.
Pocket eights. Okay, that's very interesting. Very cool play from Mark. So yeah, just kind of just I mean the pocket pairs definitely make sense as bluffs in these situations, right? Because you want to be unblocking this kind of Broadway region for Llama, right? You want Llama to have pocket kings, pocket queens, pocket jacks. You want him to have hands like Jack 10, Queen 10. So if you're sitting there with like Queen Jack of diamonds or something that you floated flop and call turn, it's a pretty rubbish hand to bluff river with. You could argue it has some nice properties in the sense that it blocks ace jack, but generally you're going to be blocking the hands that you want Llama to fold. And then when you've got hands like, yeah, as people say in the chat, deuces, fours, 4-5 suited, like, yeah, pocket sevens and pocket eights, I think we're starting to get into the region where I'm like, okay, this is quite surprising to me personally, but it certainly makes a lot of sense in terms of just like unblocking the folds from Llama. And yeah, Llama, it does well. You got the this is one of the ace highs that makes a decent amount of sense to bet the flop. Just one of the weaker ace highs that you can deny quite a bit of equity, and then he's turned the ace and he's been prudent enough to check and let Mark blast off. So this is why you got to be careful with your ranges when you're playing high stakes, because these guys are going to put you in a spot. I imagine a lot of the 50NL players, if they're in Llama's shoes, they just bet the turn always. Whereas, and then that means when they do check, they just always have jacks and queens. So, they get put in a lot more tough spots. Whereas Llama has a relatively easy call down, and picks himself up another 25k pot.
Yeah, very nice one.
8-8 seems like it'd be lower frequency turn, but always follow through. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Yeah, just kind of close. You would definitely rather bet something like a lower pocket pair.
What would be a bad hand to bluff here?
Yeah, I mean, I think the hands I mentioned, probably something like a queen jack, or queen jack of diamonds or something that you floated flop with. Probably not great. Yeah, I mean, it's good to have pairs on the board. It's good. So if you had something like a 4-5 suited, that seems like a pretty good one to go with. It's good to have these lower pocket pairs. Yeah, I think once you get, I mean, 9s and 8s seem a little bit spicier, but yeah, I think once you get to river, it's okay. Queen jack is better than king queen. Yeah, I'll take your word for it.
I just locked another guest for Wednesday, Jared Alderman.
Awesome. All right, I'll need to call it a night there, Mr. Merlot. But it's been a pleasure as always being part of the stream. Some cool hands so far, and yeah, we'll see if Davy just continues to run away with it today and take back his crown.
The throne. The Iron Throne. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. As always, you're welcome back anytime. And if you have any shout outs, now is the time, boss.
Yeah, I was told to prepare shout outs, and I don't. Yeah, as ever, just if anybody is sort of playing sort of low to mid stakes full time and is looking for somebody to chat some strategy, feel free to reach out to me on Discord. I'm DanC2501 on Discord. And yeah, I always like to give a shout out just to the players battling in this. Just willing to put tens of thousands of dollars up and battle with the best in the world in front of the cameras, with the show table, showing some hole cards. Like, this is really good for poker. It's really pushing the game forward in terms of strategy, in terms of getting the names out there of people that are studying and furthering the name of poker as the main sport that we know that it is. So yeah, shout out to each and every one of these guys.
Thank you, boss. Good night. Laters.
Good night, sir.
I feel like Peaceful Johnny needs more shout-outs. I'll do them for him. You know what? Shout out to the Scottish football team for qualifying for the World Cup. Shout out to his fiance. Shout out to Phil Galfond. There you go. Some inspo. Some shoutspo for next time when you're on Peaceful Johnny. This is how you do it. Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna go off as well. Like, I just wanted to make sure I did a stream today, so there is at least a little bit of content for some of those hardcore viewers that we have that want to make sure they catch the action. It was like my last very busy day, and I'm also like exceedingly tired. I barely slept like 4 hours. Then I took like 2 small naps. But from tomorrow, I do really want to start streaming longer hours. So yeah, I had a ton of stuff to do today. Right now, for tomorrow, I do not have a scheduled guest, but I just have like a haircut in the afternoon, and after that, I could literally stream the whole afternoon and evening if the games are running and if I find guests. So I will just try hard to look around, and then we'll see who's around, and hopefully do a longer stream. Yeah, yesterday I did like 8 hours and a half, and that also that led to a not so great sleep. Catch up on the chat real quick. K-Pat said could be that Mark is randomizing with all of his lower pocket pairs and just trying to hit the overall frequency rather than having too strong of a preference between them. It could be, definitely, yeah. He didn't want to give away his hand strength on the turn, so he punted it off. I was surprised to see it. I don't think that with those players it's ever like this, to be honest. And Pickle, shout out to Peaceful Johnny, fun listen / watch. Yeah, he's one of the regular guests that's really nice to have on all the time. I said, get some rest. Thank you so much. And then Pickles. Wait, Weston, is Brandon winning? I haven't seen too many hands. I don't know if you saw the hand we just reviewed, though. He didn't win in that one. I'll replay it just for you, boss. So this was a raise. Why won't it pause? Okay, raise on the button, or high mark, 3-bet in a big blind. Lama c-bets big on a 10 high flop, high mark calls, and then high mark bombs the... Well, not bombs the turn, he bets the turn. And jams river with pocket eights and gets called by ace-jack suited. So definitely a bump in the road here, let's call it. All right, thank you, Dan Pickles, as well. Much love. Thank you to all of you guys. Make sure to give a follow to Poker Strategy and Coin Poker on all their socials. I'm back tomorrow, hopefully in the afternoon, when there is action and with some guests. And I'll see you guys then.